Hi everyone, and welcome to the Real Life Alexa channel. My name is Alexa, and this is Real Life. I wanted to revisit Doctor Who. There are 3 episodes of the new season up with Ncuti Gatwa, and I am liking them so far, the episodes, with him and Millie Gibson as Ruby Sunday. And I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about this. Now, I've looked online. I really shouldn't. I didn't look too far because I get the people come out in droves who can't please anyone, apparently, online with their comments. A lot of people are mad that they're standalone episodes. A lot of people are mad they don't like this doctor, and they won't say why, but come on, let's be real. They didn't like Jodie Whittaker either, and might have something to do with not being an old white guy. The old, questionable. I mean, Matt Smith was very young. So I don't care what other people think. I mean, I hope people like the series so that it keeps going, obviously. Enough people like it, but I don't really care what other people think a lot of the times about the shows that I like, as long as there's enough people to make sure the show keeps going. I personally don't like when episodes become taken over by an overarching storyline. Several of Matt Smith's episodes got taken up by the astronaut, and at one point I was just like, oh great, another bridge to another episode where the episode really existed just to get them to the next episode, to the next episode, to the next episode. And that frustrates me a little bit. I first realized how frustrating that was. I loved the X-Files when I was younger. And if you go back and you watch them, their initial episodes are all very standalone. You don't have to watch any other episodes. And then I don't know what series it got to, but the latest series, it's one story through all of them. And they throw little bits in here and there, but that was the thing where I was like, yeah, I don't like that. This feels more like some standalone episodes. I was thinking about it, and they're making this big deal out of Ruby Sunday's character, and I feel like they're going down the route of, oh, the impossible girl again, or before them, Amy was something, and then I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, Rose was just an ordinary girl from London, and she was, but she was also Bad Wolf at the end. And I think the thing with you're gonna get up and interrupt. You're interrupting. Here, come on, hurry up. This is real life, y'all. Cats think they own the place. They sure think they own the place. I think the thing with Bad Wolf is it wasn't obvious. You didn't know it was Rose when it was going through. Towards the end, there were a few places I was like, why is she showing up again? But I also liked seeing the character, so it was sort of back and forth. The Impossible Girl, again, I mean, it got to a certain point, but then after that episode, it was like, she's just Clara now, kind of thing. And so I kind of had to call myself out because, yes, I don't like those constantly overarching in your face, this is the biggest story that, oh, you don't know yet kind of thing. But I haven't been as picky about it. I think I'm a little more picky about it right now because we've had so many series where, like, his companion all of a sudden becomes super important. And I think one of the things I really liked about Doctor Who, and do like about Doctor Who, is that a lot of his companions are just ordinary people, ordinary beings. They're not mystical or special, or they're just normal. You know, he's the Time Lord with 2 hearts and massive intellect, and yet he still takes time for these ordinary humans who end up doing things that could be considered extraordinary. And yes, it's a sci-fi show, but you can always draw comparisons to culture. And I think that most good literature, of which movies are still stories that are written, so a type of literature in a very broad sense. Please don't scream at me for that. Um, they do mirror the times. I was thinking about Jodie Whittaker, and I felt like a lot of her episodes, the writing in them, it wasn't fair to her or her companions. We were constantly hit in the face with, you need to do better. Society sucks and you need to do better. We watch TV and movies, a lot of us, to escape from the very overwhelming narrative that the media pushes all day, every day about how terrible our society is, the bad things going on in the world. So to then show up to these shows and have it very much in our face can be frustrating. I think of some of the episodes that were written for, I mean, Capaldi had some that were just insanely good. And I don't know how Jodie Whittaker would have done with those episodes, but I don't believe any of her episodes had the material given to her that was given to Capaldi on some of his. And so I think that's where I would have liked to see her get some better meaty stuff to really to get into. So far, though, I am impressed with Ncuti. I wanted to harken back to a video I did several weeks ago in preparation for this. I had seen a video of him saying how to say his name, and he had said it's Ncuti Gatwa. And then I literally saw a video, I think yesterday, where he was talking about that video and how his mom called him up afterwards and said, "What are you talking about? Like, you're an idiot. That's not your name. It's not how you say it." He was so funny and so trite about it. And so I apologize. I was saying his name wrong. It is apparently Ncuti with the N is said. It's not silent. You would not think it, but I have a last name that people get wrong a lot. It was recently, just on Wednesday, I was in a meeting and it was said wrong to everyone there. So that was, I get it. It's nice when people get our names right, and I do try very hard to get people's names right. I don't always remember people's names, but when I do remember them, I try to say them right. So it's a very nice feeling that people listen. If we can say Tchaikovsky, Schwarzenegger, like a bunch of names, like if you can say Worcestershire sauce, you can say Ncuti. It's that easy, right? Like names are important. He brings a joy to the character. In the second episode, though, he brought a very uncommon moment of fear to life, and genuine fear. Not so the Space Babies episode was one, and then there was the Maestro one. I don't know what the name of that episode is, but it has Maestro in. And I've seen some comments about the flamboyance of the villains, and I'm like, have you ever watched Doctor Who? Like, honestly, I think the art department just sits there and says, how can we make it even more than the last one? And I mean, they do an amazing, phenomenal job. So yes, flamboyance in their characters can happen, but having something outside of the ordinary is part of what makes villains almost come to life in a way. There's two types of villains. There's the ones that are very different from us, and then there's the ones that are, you think they're like you, and then you realize they're not. They could just look like normal people, and then you realize they're not. So personally, I am more scared by the second type, because I think that's But I think that might be a little too close to home because a lot of us know someone that we have trusted, we thought was a good human, and then they turned out to not be. So I think that those are a little harder to have every week in a show, especially when you're trying to give someone an escape from reality, but also um, possibly planting some seeds for thought in the back of their head where you're not hitting them over the head with social commentary, which is what I and many people felt with a lot of Jodie's episodes. And again, she didn't write them. She did what she did with the material, and I think she did a good job with it. I would have liked to see her get some different episodes there. If we want to bring people along to a new way of thinking, convincing them that it was their idea is one of the strongest ways you can do to get them to support it and buy in. It's also a difficult and more time-consuming process. And if you're interested in that, you can Google it. There's psychological ways of how you can introduce an idea, ask for thoughts, sort of ignore it for a little while, circle back. Oh, weren't you talking about this? Didn't you say something? There's ways. You can Google it. I'm fascinated by psychology, and these tricks can also work on ourselves. And if we want to change our own thoughts and ingrained, learned behaviors and whatnot, we have to be able to face them. But it can be very, this is one of my favorite terms, and it's actually from a coworker, crunchy. Sometimes when you're working on big projects, it can get crunchy. And I just think of walking on gravel with bare feet, and it's uncomfortable and it crunches, and just, you don't want to be there, right? But if you all work together, you can get off that gravel faster onto the nice soft grass. And I'm putting that image together. That's how I think of it. The word is my coworkers, but I think that this crunchiness is something to embrace, because if you are comfortable, you are coasting and nothing is changing. And a little bit of crunchiness can be good. Too much can be overwhelming. Let's be real. Too much can be overwhelming, but a little bit of change and growth and learning can be good. So this is a pretty short, fast one. If you have Disney Plus in the US, the BBC, the Doctor Who episodes are up on episodes. Oh, that was weird. Episodes are up on there, and there's the special, and then there are 3 episodes from the season so far. So I'm enjoying it. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm very much enjoying the interaction of the Doctor with Ruby Sunday, the companion. And they've definitely got something going on with her. So we'll see if they make it like a multi-episode thing to kind of be a bit crunchy for me. A little bit crunchy. But if it's not the main theme of multiple episodes, then it might just slowly work its way through without us. Well, we've noticed it now. So I was going to say without us noticing Bad Wolf, because I mean, I don't think a lot of people notice Bad Wolf, at least not the casual watchers. But if you have Disney Plus, I suggest you go give it a chance. You might want to go back and start with Eccleston's series. I don't know if they're on Disney Plus. They were on Amazon for quite a while. You got to give it a few episodes. I mean, I grew up with it as a kid. I remember Tom Baker's Doctor, the scarf, and I sort of knew what to expect a little bit with it. It still needs a couple episodes to get into it. And if you do go back and start, don't be turned off by the plastics. Stick with it for a few episodes. That's all I'm going to say. All right, y'all. If you made it this far, thank you. As always, like, subscribe, drop a comment. Let me know if you have watched The Doctor and Ruby Sunday and what your thoughts are so far. And I'll see you on Wednesday. Be kind to yourself.